we're back. Hi guys, my name is Trevor Formula, and on the other screen is JT. No, we're not doing that anymore.
No,
if you watched,
long gone.
If you watched part 1, you will of course know what we are on about. If you didn't watch part 1, please go and check that out a little bit before you obviously watch this episode. But this, of course, is part 2, the second part of the 2016 season, where we just got a little bit better, a few more episodes to review for you guys. Of course, as we said yesterday, John, we love watching our old videos. It was absolutely class. And without further ado, we are going to jump into a pretty special video. Now, just before I start to play this one, this was a first video where we came back from a very special trip that we took in July. We'll get into that in a little bit later on in the year. But firstly, though, John, as we said yesterday, we did Skype recording, and it was mainly me that was recording. You didn't really know much. You were in the dark. And obviously, I was hosting the episodes. But now the tables had turned to you hosting it. Do you want to tell everyone just a little bit about kind of your idea? You know, like your idea of now further moving on the channel. Of course, a split screen, but how is it now better? How is the F1 Division moving forward?
So at this point, we started dipping into editing software, and you know, we were looking at different like softwares we could get. Like Lau was looking at one, I was looking at one, and I came across the one where it was basically where we could like just shrink our screen so we could have it in the corner and have some like, you know, graphics. I say graphics, just like, you know, text like below us and like pictures here and there, just to kind of describe, well, what we're talking about, for instance, just to make it look a bit more professional. We would have our ads in the text below us, and it was just something like, it was a proper upgrade in my opinion to what we used to have. It would just be us and that was it. Yet this time I think I bought a proper camera. In fact, I'm still using the exact same camera as to what it was back then. So yeah, I mean that's still pretty awesome. We just kind of sent to upgrade it. Talking about Lyle, and I was like, oh, really like this idea, and then we just kind of went from there, really. And it was certainly like the next evolution to what you see today, if I'm perfectly honest. But this is like the real next step for the F1 debate show, and I do like these graphics that we've once had.
Yeah, it was it's quite similar to now. I mean, you know, a split screen, of course, leaving a bit at the bottom. Actually, I say John recorded it. It was his idea, but we did take it in turns to record. And this is one that I've chosen, is obviously a me one. I think I added to it when I found out how to do it. There's logos everywhere. But just have a look, guys. And even our little names are at the bottom. Oh my god, what a mess.
Oh, wow.
This is episode 21 called Dab for the Champ. Of course, that very famous picture where Lewis Hamilton, he wins. I think it's the 2016 Hungarian Grand Prix. He wins, gets out, celebrates, and then just does a quick dab it out. Called Dab It Out for the lads. So, here we go. Here is episode 21, Dab for the Champ. 1. Hi guys, welcome to the F1 Debate Show, episode 21. Now in this episode we're going to be talking about some of the biggest news and headlines in the paddock between the Hungarian and the German Grand Prix, such as some transfer news and who's staying in Formula 1 and who's leaving for 2017, tyre compounds that have been chosen for the rest of the 2016 season. But firstly, we're going to start off with reviewing, just quickly, our Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, as you know, we didn't get a video out on Sunday. Before we go into that, I do want to say that obviously I'm back in these videos, and a big thank you to JT, who did the Hungarian Grand Prix, all the videos, including the F1 debate show, and also Thursday's preview of Germany on his own, obviously because I had other commitments to do, which is great. It's also great to know that if one person has problems, the other person can step in. We're going to skip forward again. Big thank you to JT, and I hope you give him all the praise because he's done some amazing videos. They are really great. You can find them all on YouTube, and we also share them on Facebook.
Thank you very much, Elsie.
You're very welcome, JT. So to start off this video, we're going to be reviewing Hungary, the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it was if you've seen that video that JT did on our channel, then you'll know that it was maybe not the best.
No, it wasn't.
Out of 10, I'd give it a 2.
I wouldn't even consider rating it. It was that bad.
But the first thing to mention though, JT, which obviously is great for us, Hamilton fans and Brits and Mercedes fans, is that Hamilton is now the leader of the World Championship. Now it is strange, we are so far into the season and he has become the leader, but yep, he has taken over Nico, the man who once had 7 victories in a row, who won the first 4 races of the season and had a massive 40+ lead. And yeah, Lewis, the champion of the race,
he did get it on a bit. I like that.
That was good. So Jordan, obviously your audio was really improved. Well, I don't want to say it's improved, as in there was something wrong.
Well, first of all, I was a lot more clear compared to what it was, wasn't I?
It was 1080p cameras. It was absolutely perfect. I'm actually sitting in almost the same position, just different wallpaper. But it was absolutely perfect. It really opened up to the second part of the season, just where we were clearer, obviously better cameras, better audio. This could be the first episode where we actually start to improve, Jordan. We set off how we wanted to go. But of course, let's jump into another video. Jordan hosts this one, I hope, because we're not doing very well here. This is a video called Episode 25. I love this name. It's about Silverstone leaving Formula 1, but it's called... I made this name because of my, amazing brain. I called it Silverstone. And when you get to the S, it's S-T-O-N-E.
Oh.
Silverstone.
I love it.
Here we go. Episode 25, Silverstone.
Hello guys, the F1 debate show will begin very shortly, but I thought
that's
this little video in at the start.
Let's play. This is a very special one because there was an announcement. I actually forgot what the announcement is. I'll watch in a minute. But there's an announcement, and Jordan's editing this one, so he's about to say something before we actually go along with the video. I think it's in Massa's retirement, but I'm not too sure.
Just to basically say, when we recorded this video, it was the day before Felipe Massa announced his retirement from Formula 1, so we pre-recorded this video just before he announced his retirement. Obviously, we would have covered it. And if you're here to hear our opinions and stuff, it's not going to be in this video. As like I said, it was the day before, which is a bit unfortunate. But obviously with our schedule and stuff, we couldn't really. That was the only day we could actually record. So bit of a downer. But we are going to do a separate video about Felipe Massa's career, about his plans in the future, and just obviously look back at what a wonderful career he's had in Formula 1. So stay tuned for that as well. But enjoy the F1 debate show. Don't forget to subscribe. And like
we
this
didn't
video
do
as
that.
well.
Did not do that.
It's the F1 debate show episode 25.
Hi guys, and welcome to the F1 debate show. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about some driver transfers and contract rumours as we enter the contract season on the 2016 calendar. We're also going to be talking about the comments to Max Verstappen after his actions at the Belgian Grand Prix, which was the last race. Look forward to the Italian Grand Prix, which is this race, and we are inside the weekend. And also mention the first F1 debate show giveaway. But first, we're going to start with the history of the British Grand Prix, and more specifically the Silverstone circuit in England. What may or may not happen in the next few years.
Yeah, so basically, obviously you're probably thinking to yourself, hang on, why have you brought something like this in the topic? Basically, this week I've seen on social media that, from an anonymous source, not an official source,
it's a minute, 90 seconds in the video, and he's talking,
there's every possibility that the British Grand Prix could be dropped in the next few years. And I mean, when I first seen this, I was like, this has to be fake. Then I seen it from another two anonymous sources, and I'm thinking, what if like people from from the outside of the media actually have overheard this from somewhere, and now there could be literally
not one anonymous source,
now actually drop this from the calendar. I mean, how catastrophic would this be
anonymous sources
to Formula 1 if we were to lose the British Grand Prix? Now I don't know exactly. Say if this does come in
actually, no, it's not Heinz. It's a rip-off of Heinz.
I don't know if it's going to be that Silverstone is going to be removed and British Grand Prix will be hosted by another track, or they're going to scrap it altogether.
I mean,
now as I've been saying,
I'm a little bit impressed by that, Jordan. So of course you made that video at the start. What do you think about your little announcement? Shocking news, breaking news, Massa's first retirement.
I actually remember hearing about that retirement, about the news, and I was like, I don't believe it. We've just recorded the video, like I said, the day before, and I think I was editing the same day it was announced. I think, but obviously I was thinking ahead of Saturday, so I think we might have recorded the Wednesday perhaps, and I was editing the Thursday night, so that's where I kind of was. But it was just a hello, it's me on screen and stuff like that. But I thought, to be fair, I thought it was the end of the world when we did this video, and then that news was announced, because we were kind of covering the breaking news. So I thought, if we release this video and we don't and we haven't spoke about Massa's first retirement, then I thought we would get a lot of backlash. So I just did that quick intro video. I think I did that in one take.
Wow,
I think I did.
And the Oscar goes to
me, I think, because I've done a couple of hi guys, and in this video I'm sure I did that in one take. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Well done, JT.
But no, I think that was a good episode. I like that.
And then, of course, Jordan, you tell everyone that we're going to be doing that special Felipe Massa retirement video. And where is it?
We're still working on it. Still working on it.
Guys, we're still recording it, but I promise you, it's coming out very, very soon.
It's coming shortly, guys. I mean, it's coming shortly. Oh, so I'm excited.
Moving on to, it's not an F1 debate show this time. It's an idea that Jordan had, very similar. It's called The Big Debate. Now, finally, guys, he actually hosts an episode. I let him host one. I'm joking after he hosted ones before.
I'm allowed.
He hosts this one. It's called The Big Debate, Episode 1. Without further ado, let's roll into it. And Jordan, a solid 95 views. I mean, wow. 95 views.
Cent in revenue, I think that'll go by. So, paying the bills, you know what I mean?
Big time. Skills to pay the bills. So anyways, let's roll into The Big Debate, Episode 1, which Jordan hosts.
I love it.
Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new series on our F1 Debate Show YouTube channel. This is called, as you can see by the title,
don't want the camera, guys.
This is going to be a weekly series, as we've done in the past. This is going to be every so often when something big in the news has happened. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, isn't that what the F1 Debate Show is about? Well, I'm just going to briefly explain what the Big Debate is. It's when, as I said, when something big happens, me and Elsie are going to discuss it about this one particular topic, because we know that we've watched YouTube videos before, we know what we want to see, and we don't want to see a 40-50 minute video, because two people guys talking it for about 50 minutes, it does get boring. So I thought,
we don't want to see
let's create a new series where
video.
We kind of take that away from the F1 Debate Show, put it into a brand new series, more videos, more content for you guys as well, so and just keep the F1 Debate Show free, keep it short and sweet, and obviously everyone's happy. So in this episode, for the first episode, we are going to be talking about the news that Jensen Button is leaving Formula 1 in 2017. And not only that, we're also going to be discussing the 3-driver strategy that McLaren have put into place for 2017 and 2018.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, no.
I remember that weird strategy that McLaren had where they announced Van Dorn and Alonso for 17.
Yeah.
But Button had the option for 18. It was a weird system. Like, Button was like, I'm retiring, but I'm not retiring. It's like,
well,
what?
Does anyone remind you of that? A certain Brazilian? A certain man who we promised to make a retirement video about?
We did promise to make a video about. At least Massa kind of said, okay, I'm going to retire then with Rosberg's shock retirement. Spoiler alert, by the way. He came back in the Formula 1 race for another year. So
it hadn't, John, you've spoiled everything. It hadn't happened at this point.
Oh,
actually,
no, I was about to say.
Well, Rosberg hadn't even retired, but he hadn't even won the World Championship. Oh, no.
Oh,
I've just ruined it.
Spoiler.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I've ruined the season. Oh no.
It could be worse. I mean, to be fair, it was nice seeing Bottas go to Mercedes.
No,
I've done it. No.
I mean, it was good to see Charles Leclerc go to Ferrari.
What are you doing?
We're done now. But yeah, wow. I'm trying to think what else happened in Formula 1. Nah, nothing since 2016. Anyways, but yes, the Big Debate didn't go very far, guys. We made a grand total of three videos. Anyway, so moving on to the next video, John. And next up we have a very special one. This is called Nightmare on Ham Street, and it's a Halloween special. Now we both, I think it was like a joint decision, really. We'd just gone to see like a horror movie in the cinema. I think it was a Conjuring 2, but I'm not sure. And we had this idea of making a funny intro for obviously Halloween. Guys, it's incredible. We can't talk about it. We've just got to watch. Enjoy our Halloween. It's an episode afterwards, of course, but it's the intro.
The intro is the main thing.
It's the outro as well, which I'm going to quickly go to as well. But watch this. Yeah. It is so scary / unscary. Just, oh God. Enjoy.
Ads for the lads.
One.
I cringe.
It's eerie. The funny thing is, you can actually see a little bit of Jordan's camera, but you can't see any of my camera. Oh, I'm scared now, guys.
Should be petrified. Oh, where have we gone? Where have we gone?
welcome to the F1 Debate Show, episode 30. Coming up in this
guys.
episode, we talk about Danny Kivat staying with Toro Rosso for another year.
We talk about Pierre Gasly possibly going somewhere else in Formula 1.
We talk about Ron Dennis possibly leaving Formula 1 altogether.
And we talk about the United States Grand Prix since we didn't get a review out, and we also award the driver of the day.
But first, some positive news in the F1 paddock for like a long time eventually. Danny Kivat has signed for Toro Rosso for another year. Now, I think this has come as a little bit of a surprise for most fans because, as we all know, Daniel Kivat...
Right, guys, now we are going to skip to the outro of our episode. So remember the intro? Remember how scary it was, guys? If you've had to change your undies, I'm so sorry about that, but you shouldn't have because the outro is just as scary.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Don't forget to stay tuned with us throughout the rest of the F1 season and also preview into next season as well in the future. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.
Yep, see you guys.
What's happening? Oh my god, the build-up. Music.
The build-up?
What's happening?
What's going to happen?
Lad, where
have we gone? What the hell?
Where? Oh my god, I'm so scared. I might have to sleep with the light on tonight.
Jesus Christ. I am sleeping with my eyes open tonight after watching that intro and outro. I mean...
I'm going to get a nightlight. Oh my god, that was so... Oh wow, guys. I'm so sorry if you've got little children with you, but like you shouldn't have watched that. We might have to put a 15 rating on this video, John, because I mean that is...
Peggy 15.
That is some scary stuff, but oh my god. Anyways, but I mean, that was fun though. Like, out of all the kind of the funny intros that we've made... This is how it's. Would you say this is how it started? Obviously, we made one very early on, if you remember, with China, but it wasn't very good. Would you say this is like the first funny intro that we actually make? And it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like you said at the start, it was a joint decision because like we wanted to create some. We had the idea of creating something for Halloween. We had to think of something, and obviously me and Lau, we're horror fans. We love going to see a horror at the cinemas. So we wanted to kind of implement that into our debate show. So we kind of had this idea of, I think it was it inspired by, it might have been The Conjuring or Sinister.
I think it was. I've just said I think it was a Conjuring 2. I remember when we came up with that episode, the idea. It was about a month. Yes, I'm almost certain it was a Conjuring 2. Which, by the way, guys, we're promoting another video. If you haven't seen already, go and check that out. That is terrifying. Terrifying. That is the only movie I've ever actually screamed at. And when I say scream, I kind of do and don't mean. I didn't do a man scream. I did like a proper woman scream. I was like, oh my god, that's scary stuff. But anyways, yes, I think it was The Conjuring 2, Jordan. But I mean, that intro. Yes, we did it.
We nailed it. We had to be fair, like it was quite good that we actually dared ourselves to even do something like that. To kind of show a different side to us. I think we were kind of. You could tell we were like happy and whatever, but we didn't really show our like. Obviously, that was like funny kind of side, like a community side. We've done a lot more funny intros than that, but that was like the first kind of indication that we can kind of not take ourselves seriously with videos and that. And looking back at that, I did cringe a bit, but at the same time, it was pretty good what we did there, Bind. It was pretty awesome.
It was good. Anyway, so moving on now we're getting close to the end of the year now. Obviously, we do reviews of the races. Next up is Japan. Early morning race for us in the UK here. You wouldn't be surprised to know that Mercedes are actually going for a construct. I think it was their fourth or fifth this time in a row. So of course, Mercedes gunning for that. Early morning start. I'm hosting this one. I think it's a special one. Look at what I'm wearing as well. Specially ordered for today's race. Here it is, guys. The 2016 Japanese Grand Prix review of Japan.
One more time for the team from Brackley. Welcome to the 2016 Japanese Grand Prix review. Now, Japan was round 17 in the 2016.
You've been planning that all night, man.
It took place at Suzuka Circuit in the very early hours of the morning. Well, for me and JT anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I love getting up for these early races. It might be a strain from not having enough sleep and I'm at work later on, but it's just the amount of fun. You get up in the dark. and it's pouring out rain out there. It wasn't in Japan.
Do you still have that
It
top,
was
by
a
the way?
fantastic day. The sun was shining. The land of the rising sun for Mercedes. They win the Constructors' Championship for the third year in succession. Absolutely an amazing achievement from them. But they were robbed because obviously, as we know, they could have won it in Malaysia. But finally, they've lifted the trophy because I was thinking halfway through the race, they're not going to do it today, and they'll have to wait for a fortnight's time to lift it in the US Grand Prix. So, without further ado, we're going to kick off this episode like we do normally by awarding the most prestigious honour in Formula 1, and that is the F1 Debate Show's Driver of the Day award. Now, I'm not sure who got the Formula 1, but obviously we don't work with them. So we are going to give it to a man who, I think, above everything else, he's a race winner. But I think above everything else, it's his consistency that really stands out for me. He always has amazing finishes. He started in third place for 3 races this season, and he's always finished in second place for all those races, and today he did as well. He split the Mercedes on the podium, and he kept Lewis Hamilton at bay for about the last 8 laps. JT, will you please tell our fans who has won the Driver of the Day award for the 2016 Japanese Grand Prix?
Please do.
Yes, it goes to car number 33 of Red Bull Racing Tag Heuer is Max Verstappen. Absolutely tremendous drive this weekend, of course, and today, obviously, winning the Driver of the Day award.
What a surprise.
I believe this is the second time he's won it. I think he obviously won it in Spain. I think this is the second award that he's picked up, so he's joined the number 2 club in terms of the F1 the F1 Debate Show Driver of the Day award. Did absolutely amazing drive for such a young talent, splitting the Mercedes, which is very hard to do, even though Hamilton did get a bad start, but we'll move on to that later. So Max Verstappen, this has come to you, first class, wherever you live, either Dutch or Germany or England or America, wherever you live. I don't know where you live. We're no stalkers here, LC. But
just listen to all the countries in the world.
Just listen anywhere. Will you be going back to Holland, as JD said, celebrate?
Rumour has it that Max still hasn't received his trophy.
Getting ready for the US.
Max, what's Max doing? Max, please come and get your makeshift Driver of the Day / Jordan's trophy from probably like Chelsea Street United or something.
I've still got that. It was actually from Waldridge, I think you'll find. Waldridge Football Club. Most improved player. No, it wasn't actually. It was actually from when my team got promoted. It was a plastic. I've still got the trophy somewhere. Actually, it's somewhere around here. But
your team must have been terrible if you were the most improved. Unless you joined and you didn't know which direction to kick the ball in, and then now you do. Maybe that's how. Maybe that's why you were the most improved player. Like you did not know where the goal was. But funny enough, though, on an unrelated note, when I was in primary school and I was on the football team, when I first started, and someone told us that this guy had scored an own goal. There was a game that the first game that I was supposed to play and I didn't, and he played on my behalf or something, and he said that he'd scored an own goal, and I thought that in the olden days an own goal was where you physically got confused and you acted like your goal was the goal you should be scoring into. Like, what I mean is, like, he kind of got disoriented and ran towards his own keeper and volleyed the ball in. That's what I always thought an own goal was, until I realised that obviously that's ridiculous because no one would do that. Anyway, it's just an unrelated football thing about me. So anyway, well done, Max Verstappen. You get your makeshift Driver of the Day / football player award from JT. I mean, the reviews. We thought we were doing right. I don't know what I was doing with all that Mercedes gear, Jordan. I really, really don't. But yeah. I mean, what did you think about doing that race? Of course, early morning start for us in the UK. Don't know why that matters. But, I mean, it was fun, wasn't it? Of course, Mercedes winning the Constructors yet again. And again, just big news for us to cover. Obviously, Mercedes, one step closer to, of course, the team that they are at this time. How did you feel doing that episode?
I think one thing to take from that video was the fact that I actually did watch the Grand Prix when it was an early one. So that was a bonus as well. Seeing Mercedes, I think at this point I've said to people before that I used to be a Hamilton hater, believe it or not, and I used to hammer Mercedes purely because off camera, because I wouldn't dare say it on camera. Christ, no way would I ever say that. It was like, but I remember the Vettel days and how boring they were, but I didn't really appreciate racing when Vettel was winning. When I look back at review, like season highlights now, I'm like, the racing was good then. That's when I was like, Mercedes is just dominating things, it's boring and everything. I didn't really look at like the midfield or at the back, but as time went on, especially with the debate show, it kind of opened my eyes that there is more to Formula 1 than the front of the grid. There is the midfield and of course the back markers as well, which at the time Manabu was still racing, so they were like the back markers at this point. So it was Mercedes have won again and boring. But really it was first of all, I love early races. Japan's one of my favourite races on the calendar. And like, yeah, and it was just, I mean, seeing Lyle in his Mercedes gear. I mean, oh my god. Wow, what were you doing? I mean, I remember the intro so well because we always reference it. One more time from the team from Bradley.
Yeah,
we need to make T-shirts and have that written on there. We just need to, and then we'll sell them off as merch.
That's what we need to sell. F1 debate with keyring.
We've always said
one more time from the team from Bradley.
Oh my god, we've always said that.
But yeah, I mean, like, I am the epitome of what was a Hamilton fanboy. Even though I do think that the cap was Nico Rosberg, I think it's got his little emblem on the back. But like, oh my god, I don't. But honestly, I don't want to say that I bought him specifically for that episode, but very nearly, very close to saying that I bought that top and that cap for the episode. But anyways, oh god, what an absolute mess. Anyway, moving on one of the last videos that we did in 2016, it was about the Brazilian Grand Prix. Again, Jordan, you probably agree with this. I would say that we were very good in this video at what we said. You know, everything was good. Of course, graphics weren't great, and of course, just, you know, it could obviously have improvement. But it was good. It was strong. It was a good episode. It had great views as well. And of course, it was to round off a great race. That was episode... It was actually, ironically, episode 33. And we talked about the man himself, Max Verstappen, of course, who did a brilliant Brazilian Grand Prix in 2016, going from, I think it was 17th to 3rd in a few laps time. It was actually shown on Formula 1, the YouTube channel the other day, of course, with the lack of F1 races. Brilliant drive from him, almost godly, and that's exactly what I say in the episode. So without further ado, let's roll into episode 33, which was called Is Max Verstappen the Flying Dutchman? Very classy name as well, the Flying Dutchman. Of course, like, how do I come up with these?
Amazing.
Like, God, someone... I mean, I amaze myself sometimes. My brilliance is almost scary
Absolutely
sometimes.
Incredible.
But here we go. Here is. Thank you very much. Here is episode 33, guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the F1 debate show. We talk about Max Verstappen being the next prodigy in Formula 1.
We talk about Ron Dennis leaving Formula 1.
We talk about the winners of the F1 debate show's Driver of the Day awards.
And we award Driver of the Day from the Brazilian Grand Prix.
The biggest news coming out of Sao Paulo is the amazing drive, almost godly drive, by Max Verstappen, the very young Dutchman, number 33 at Red Bull Racing. He did an unbelievable race at Interlagos in the wet, very similar to, as you may have guessed, three-time world champion Ayrton Senna from Brazil, obviously the homeland of Sao Paulo. He did some amazing drives from there, obviously winning Asphalt and some unbelievable races, especially in the wet. Now, Max Verstappen, obviously very, very young.
I was just saying
as
that
you said
to
before, younger than me, and JT did an absolutely unbelievable race around there in the rain. Now, if you didn't watch the race at Interlagos, the Brazilian Grand Prix that was on, which was the previous race, the penultimate round of the 2016 season, it was up and down, but mostly down if you were sitting on the couch, and down for the drivers in the pit lane. They were very much on
down if you're on the couch,
sitting behind the red flag and the safety car, and Bert Mylander, who did win Driver of the Day award. No, I'm joking.
You should have.
So yes, obviously it was a pretty boring race. But not for Max Verstappen. He did some unbelievable overtakes, around 13 overtakes in the remaining 16 laps of the race. Now, it was very hard, it was very strategic and all that to get to get over a half race distance and get 4 points and blah blah blah. But Max Verstappen kept a cool head above that and basically drove an amazing race, doing unbelievable overtakes. I'd say around 2 a lap, possibly even more. And yeah, never less than one major overtake in one lap. He did some unbelievable people as well on the grid at the moment who have been looking up. And if they didn't know how great of a driver Max Verstappen was, they'll have definitely known about it in this race. Now, I mean, obviously Max has been under the spotlight in the last few races. Obviously, for doing a bit of tricky overtaking,
I think you think it's
undercutting and blah 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 stuff like that. Especially after Mexico,
it was a great
obviously with Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo being on the podium and their little squabbles and handbags are done on the track. But if he had anything to prove, as we've said about Max before, if he has anything to prove, he doesn't let any of the media's like negativity get under his skin. He just drives like how he wants. He does what he wants. That's the thing, Max Verstappen. He does what he wants in the car. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's almost like yes, he's a team player. Yes, he drives for Red Bull in the car. Outside the car.
So, Jordan, do you know what? I'd say that was a good episode again. We have our facts right. I mean, it was a brilliant race. I would say in this instance, I know Max didn't win. but he came third, I think it was, obviously behind the two Mercedes drivers. I would say it was a little bit better than what we were like for Spain, for example. We weren't hyping Max up ridiculously. I mean, I know I don't like as saying that godly drive. It sounds a bit like, ugh, that's cringy to hear. But it was good. I mean, it was an amazing race by Max. It was really good. It was a great race overall as well. Obviously, very thrilling, few red flags and stuff. I would say it was good. We had the intro, Alan Walker faded, wasn't brilliant, but we were making an effort. It was changing. It was forever evolving, wasn't it, the channel? And I mean, it must have felt good, mustn't it, to see this and this is the direction that we're actually going in.
Oh yeah, it was like you said, it was compared to where we were at the start of 2016, how we were very giddy and very bubbly and all that, and we had the same kind of enthusiasm then, but we kind of toned it down a bit so that we weren't just rambling on about Max is the best thing ever and just and whatever. We were just obviously we said Max had a really good race, which he did, by the way. It was a really, really good drive, and of course our points we give across were even more informative than what they were back in the day. Graphics were but I mean they were all right. Intro, change the intro. Alan Walker faded, which is my kind of idea of the F1 debate show now, because we had that intro for such a long time, which you'll see in a bit. Well, you'll see later on at some point. So that was the kind of end of the year penultimate race it was, and of course one more to go to Abu Dhabi, which was a thrilling Grand Prix, by the way. And to be fair, thinking back, 2016, despite the Mercedes dominance, it was a good year. In terms of races, in terms of how we were on the F1 debate show. I mean, of course, things got better, but that was our first year on YouTube, and we were just so excited that we were here making our presence known, and a lot of people seemed obviously people didn't agree with what we said half the time, but most of the time it was still pretty positive the reaction that we got, and and it was a good direction for us to go in the future to where we are today. And looking back now, I really, really enjoyed looking back at our 2016 selves. I mean, cringy at some parts, but that's the joys of it, I suppose. And it's just great to see how far we've actually came. If I'm totally honest, maybe we were better then than what we are today. Who knows? It depends what you guys think. But but no, I think it was awesome. I really, really good, really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely.
One.
I mean, John could be right. Yeah, JC could be right. Let us know if you preferred 2016 to now. Of course, that is the end of our episode. Thank you very much for watching today. If you do like what you see, let us know, because we love these reaction videos. Of course, looking back. So obviously let us know, and then this is part 2. We'll be making loads more parts for different years as well, different scenarios. We did the thing over Christmas, we did Silverstone, different years, Monza. We'll be reviewing it all. Let us know, and obviously if you like 2016, we'll be doing, because I mean we did so many videos, we've missed so many good ones out. We've chosen some of the good ones, but honestly all of them could be good. So obviously let us know. We'll hopefully be making some more in the future. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hope we've had obviously a very I hope we smiled, had a good time, had a good laugh in these 2 days. Of course, we do need that in the situation that we're in at the moment. No Formula 1, obviously provisionally until the Canadian Grand Prix, but obviously that could very much change in the future. Of course, from us, we hope that you are staying safe and well in this situation. If you do like what you see around here, please like and subscribe to us. We've got loads more content coming out, again, through the situation of course, no Formula 1. Hopefully we do have a 2020 season, but we'll have to see what happens. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
See you later, guys.